With more protests possible here in the coming days, Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr is issuing a stern warning to who he calls rioters. Carr says Americans have the right to peacefully protest, but not to use violence and destroy property. Those who do, he says, could be charged with domestic terrorism. Carr sat down for a one-on-one interview today with Atlanta News' first Abby Casoras this afternoon.
The state's top attorney, Attorney General and gubernatorial candidate Chris Carr, drawing a clear distinction between protesters and rioters.
Protesters use words and rioters use violence. There's no gray area.
Attorney General Chris Carr and 25 other Republican attorneys general from across the country signing this letter of support for President Donald Trump's decision to bring in National Guard troops after protests turned violent in Los Angeles, committing to bring domestic terrorism charges against violent rioters in their own states, up to 35 years of jail time. This is the scene in Brookhaven on Tuesday night. For hours, people peacefully protested against ICE raids until Brookhaven police say aggressors started throwing rocks and fireworks at police, damaging 3 police vehicles. 6 people were arrested.
You don't get to stomp on police cars. You don't get to damage property. And so the Brookhaven police acted appropriately, and we will support them any way they need.
This is a look at tense moments during protests in Los Angeles. The White House reported Wednesday that since protests began on June 6, they've arrested more than 300 people in the country illegally. Roughly a third had previous criminal convictions.
Rioters burned American flags, chanted "Death to ICE," and spray-painted anti-American slogans on buildings. But President Trump will never allow mob rule to prevail in America.
The president suggested Tom Homan, director of ICE, should arrest California Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom says democracy is under assault.
The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don.
Carr saying Newsom and other Democrats are creating an unsafe environment.
You know, it's amazing to me to see the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, now Stacey Abrams, gaslighting Americans, telling us we're not seeing the violence, that this is peaceful. That's absurd.
There are protests planned here in Atlanta in the coming days, including one outside of the state capitol. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Casoras.